It's not uncommon for families to be going through the recruiting process feeling lost, like they don't know what they're doing, and like everything is out of their control. And that's the exact same situation my client David and his son Lucas were in when they enrolled into Apex to work with me and my team. They were paying money for camps where they'd show up and the coach said they weren't even going to recruit any of the players that were attending. They were playing on an AAU team, not getting any traction from coaches showing up to the games. Overall, they had no idea what step 1, 2, or even 3 were to get Lucas recruited. Their goal was simple. They wanted a competitive and high academic institution for Lucas to play for, which matched the exact play style that he had. But like many other athletes, they weren't getting much advice or much direction on which way to go, and that's ultimately why they enrolled with Apex. In this video, David unravels the entirety of his process working with us, taking us from step 1, where Lucas was at before they even enrolled, all the way down to where he committed to Oberlin College, where he's going to play the next 4 years of college basketball. So without further ado, let's jump into the video. What did the recruiting landscape look like for Lucas, and what made you guys feel like something needed to change?
Oh man, I mean, heck, before we started working with you guys, I can honestly say we were lost. I mean, we were going through the motions. Lucas was playing travel ball. And what was crazy is he's getting mentioned with, 4-star recruits in the same posts. He's getting some traction from that. He's getting write-ups here and there, but there wasn't really a lot of activity. So I knew something had to change. We had reached out to some of these other recruiting services. NCSA was one. I forgot the name of the other. And then we reached out to you.
Got it. And leading up to that point, when you decided to move forward with myself and my team, what were you kind of hoping Apex would do for you and Lucas? What was not necessarily the outcome, obviously the outcome is to find a good fit, but what were you hoping that change would be that would make things different for you guys?
Well, I think first and foremost was to help Lucas get exposure. We were again, he's getting written up, he's getting mentioned here and there, but a lot of things were lacking. We had to, which I'm very appreciative of what you guys did, right? He didn't have a great, let's say, X or Twitter profile.
Mm-hmm.
That was pretty much, non-existent. That did not look great. He didn't have the YouTube channel. We didn't have any of the resources and tools that are available through your service. So yeah, I mean, we were just, shooting from the hip before we came in contact with you guys.
Gotcha. Awesome. And from there, obviously working with us, it's a lot different than working with everybody else, or at least I would feel that way. Instead of you guys getting a profile on a website and then you start messaging some coaches, it's more of a hands-on and full service kind of deal. So initially when you signed up, obviously there's a little bit of a slow build up, right? We got to get the videos taken care of. We got to get the YouTube channel built out. Once that happened and the emails started going out and messages started going out to coaches, how quick was that change, and when did you feel like, oh, this was a good decision? What made you feel like that?
Well, I gave you guys a hard time. I don't know if you remember.
I do.
We had several phone calls leading up to before we even signed up. We went through all of it. I did a little bit of homework, did some research, came back and forth. And man, I really, to be completely transparent, I mean, I loved the approach that you guys provided. It was completely customized. It was personalized to us, to what our needs were. It wasn't something that was cookie cutter. It wasn't something that, everybody, the same thing for everybody, right? This was a personalized approach to Lucas's situation, right? We talked about it. You guys understood it. You understood the fact that, last season, his junior year was cut short due to the mono. And I felt that you guys provided everything we were looking for, right? Once the campaign started, once the Twitter profile started to change, the video started to get uploaded, the email started to go out. There was a little, like you said, a little bit of a buildup. But man, once that started to get going, it was crazy. It was awesome. It was, we were getting contacted by coaches on a weekly basis, multiple coaches, sometimes, on a daily basis. And it was great. It was awesome.
That's awesome. That's awesome. You know, one of the things I talk about a lot, and I've said this to you, I've said this, I think, to pretty much everybody that we work with, is believe it or not, a lot of people think at the very beginning, the just getting coaches to respond is the hard part. But that's really the easy part once you get a solid system in place for reaching out. The hard part is taking that interest from college coaches and turning that into an offer over time and actually building a relationship. So, what I think nobody really understands about working with myself and my team and how my approach is unique is the part after a coach responds. So if you could just give a little light, and I'll let you go free reign on this, on what you think about the difference between, you know, when a coach responds, process in between to get to that and building a relationship. So kind of take on that, how that works.
Hey, the question, can you repeat it? It broke up a little bit. I couldn't hear you
Yeah.
well.
So the process from a coach actually responding, what did it look like in between that working with us, and how did, I guess you didn't sign up with anybody else, but from your perspective, how does that look different than doing anything else when you're building a relationship with a coach and turning that interest into an offer?
Sure. So from that standpoint, again, it was a very personalized approach, personalized service, man. I can't thank you and Nikolai enough. Whenever we had a question as to, hey, we got, DM'd by this coach, so and so wants to jump on a call. How should we respond to this? I mean, you guys were there, not only from, the hey, jump on the academy, right? The academy is awesome.
Mhm.
The Apex Academy. I mean, whoever hasn't seen it, they need to take a look at that. That is fantastic. That has 80% of the responses. But again, Lucas's situation I thought was very unique.
It was.
Some of the questions that he was being asked, I mean, they weren't even in the academy, right? And I'm
Of
sitting
course.
here texting you guys at 9:30, 10 o'clock at night, and man, you guys were giving back responses. So that personalized approach, man, that's fantastic.
Hmm.
That was great.
Yeah.
And it was a quick. It wasn't something that, oh, okay, I'm putting in a request, or I'm texting you, or I'm texting Nikolai, and I'm getting a response, 3 days later. No, you guys responded within the hour.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Some of the stuff requires urgency. Depending on what the question is, it might be something you have to respond to in an hour. So that's definitely big time.
And that's where having access to the academy really helped out a lot, right? Because 80%, 90% of the questions that you get asked, they're repeat questions.
Mhm.
And the answers are right there. I mean, they're in the academy.
Mhm.
So having access to that was really, I mean, beneficial.
Awesome. Yeah, yeah, definitely. Took a long time to build that out and a lot of data to go through. Okay.
I bet.
So outside of that, talking more along the lines of like the the actual hands-on approach of the service. How hands-on, like how much did Lucas actually have to be involved day to day? We designed it to be not much, but obviously he has to respond to coaches. So compared to doing it on your own versus working with us in particular, how much time did that take off of his plate instead of just having to manage everything? And you obviously working and having a job, having to manage everything too.
Yeah, I mean, both my wife and I are working professionals, and Troy, man, I'm super busy. We've had to reschedule this call, I don't know how many times. But yeah, no, like from the beginning. All right, let's talk about, setting up a YouTube channel. Could I do it? Yeah, sure, probably. But do I have the time? I didn't have the time. My wife doesn't have the time. Lucas for sure doesn't have the time. He goes to one of the premier academic private schools here in South Florida. It's the rigor there is pretty intense. The academics are intense. He doesn't have the time for that. He didn't have the time to set up his Twitter profile, to go through, all the tape and the film and edit that stuff. So yeah, I mean, wow, that was for us, that was a game changer. Now, how much time did he have to put in? Not much. At the beginning, maybe once the campaign started to get going, it's just basic replying to these coaches, filtering, weeding some of these guys out that, hey, you're going to get a lot of responses, but a lot of the responses are meaningless.
Hmm.
Let's be honest. Some of them are, hey, yeah, come to my elite camp. Well, what does that mean? I mean, I'm a point guard. Are you looking for a point guard? Or I'm a center. I mean, are you guys even recruiting centers?
Hmm.
Yes or no? And the amount of time that Lucas put in was maybe no more than, I would say, an hour a week,
Hmm.
possibly, if you condense it all together.
Hmm.
Uh, Most of the time was when things got serious, right? When a coach said, "Hey, let's hop on a call." Well,
Right.
hey, let's prepare for that call. When is that call going to take place? What are the things that they may ask you? So that took a little bit more time. But in general, I'd say no more than an hour, hour and a half a week of condensed time.
Right. Yeah. Definitely don't want to waste time doing things that aren't going to move the needle. Prepping for a call takes a little longer, but that really moves the needle,
And
right?
and again, man, you could have saved us thousands of dollars if we had signed up with your service even a week or two before. We went to some of these elite, camps that he was invited to. I'll leave names of the schools out of it, but they were, very prestigious academic institutions. But even the simple thing of asking them, "Hey, are you recruiting for my position? Yes or no?" Or what type of camp is this? Is this, specific to me, or is this a general camp where there's going to be 1,000 athletes here? How am
Hmm.
I going to stand out, right?
Hmm.
Maximizing that return on your investment. If we would have signed up with your service before, I mean, we would have ruled out several things.
Hmm. Yeah. I think that was the first conversation you and I had together was about going to those two camps. I'm about to say the name of the school,
Yeah.
but those two camps. Yeah. And the first thing, did you ask if they were looking for a point guard? Nope. Yeah,
No, no,
ask now. It's better to do it now than later.
no. And
Um,
it's crazy because one of those camps, when we were there, the head coach said, "Hey, listen, all of you guys are here. We're not recruiting your kids." He point blank told us. And we're like, "What? What are you talking about? I just spent, $300 on your camp. I just spent, I don't know how much on flights, rented a car. We have, meal, hotels, and we're up here for a couple of nights. And now you're telling me that you're not recruiting." Again, the naivety of me being a parent and not knowing the landscape. Had I met you 2 weeks before that, I wouldn't have signed up for it.
right. Yeah. And that's, hindsight is 2020, but
It is. It
there's
is.
nothing you can do about that now, right? I'm glad we have Lucas in the right place. Even if we had to waste a couple $100 to figure that out, that's still a win in my book, right? So, um,
Absolutely.
moving forward from there, what was it like? I only have a couple more questions for you, David, but what was it like watching coaches come to Lucas instead of him having to chase him down? And how much stress did that pull off of your family and definitely Lucas overall? Because I know it's a little hard. I've been through the process mentally when you have to chase coaches down. It feels like you're working for a lot of nothing. It kind of bears you down. So, what was that like, and how did that remove some stress from you guys?
Man, well, I don't know if it removed stress. It actually created a different kind of stress, right? Which is all of a sudden now you have all this attention coming from different places. But no, it really, it felt great. The for him, his self-esteem, the motivation, for me as a parent to see that, all his work, all the amount of effort and work that he's been putting in, his body of work was really getting noticed, right? Because that's what this is all about. If you're not, you can put in all the work in the world, but if you're not getting noticed, I mean, come on, you're really, let's work smart, not hard, right?
Hmm.
So, yeah, no, that was a dynamic that was pretty cool to see, right? And it was great. It was nice to see that, people are acknowledging his body of work and really like his style of play. And then, you start to get into the other conversations, which is, "Hey, how would we'd love to have you up here." And, again, as a parent to hear a coach of a college team say, "I want your son to come play for me," that was awesome.
It's huge. That's huge, man. That's huge. Okay, got two more for you. Do you feel like, or not? Do you feel? What do you think the process would have looked like without this level of service going into it? If you and Lucas, and even Mom, if she wanted to throw her name in the ring to help out, what would it have looked like with you guys trying to do this on your own versus having this level of service?
Yeah, first of all, I don't think Lucas would be committed to a college. I believe that, he'd still be out there. And I see this now more than ever before with a lot of student athletes, with a lot of athletes that are out there that, can play a certain sport, but they're not getting recruited, or they're missing out on their opportunities because they don't know. They don't have access to ask the right questions. They don't know how to write an email in a certain way or fashion that's going to put them, set them apart from some of these other athletes, right?
Mhm.
Um, so so yeah, I mean, mom is over there making dinner. She's a little bit busy, but even for her, I mean, it was a breath of fresh air.
Of course. Yeah, it takes a lot to takes a what's the saying? It takes a village, I think, something like that. Um,
Of course.
so last question, if there were another parent that were in your situation, in any situation in general, really, would you recommend Apex to them? And how do you feel like it will be beneficial for somebody, regardless of their situation, if they're trying to get their athlete recruited and they know they need to market them?
No, 100%. 100%. I wouldn't hesitate if I had to go back and do this all over again. I mean, I've told you, I wish we would have done this sooner. I wish that, would have come across your service a lot sooner. Um, don't second guess it. I mean, go out there, do your homework, right? If anybody has any questions about Apex, I mean, go out there, do the research, do your homework. But what I can say is that the approach is very personalized. It's not this cookie cutter approach that other services offer. We interviewed other services, and the pricing was more or less the same, but the approach was completely different. And the amount of time and effort that it required was not even close. For me, it was a very easy decision.
Hmm. Awesome. Awesome. Well, David, that's all I have for you right here. I really appreciate it, man. Do you have anything else you'd like to say before we jump off here?
No, man. Hey, thank you guys again for your time. I really, really appreciate all the hard work, all the effort that you and Nikolai put in making yourselves available, right? At these odd hours in the evening when we had these questions and we didn't know what to say, who to turn to. Hey, how would you respond to this? Man, I really, really, really appreciate you and the service that you offer. And if there's any other parent out there that is second guessing themselves or questioning themselves whether or not they should sign up for your service, they shouldn't.
And that's how my client David and his son Lucas went from absolutely lost with no idea what to do in the process to committed to Oberlin College, a perfect fit program for them. If you want to learn more about how we did this for David and Lucas, and you want to have the highest level of service possible, something no one else offers, and it's exclusive, just click the link down in the description. It's going to take you to a page where there's a video with more information.